before the world demands another ounce of your precious energy, before the notifications pull you back into the chaotic matrix of other people's emergencies, I need you to simply stop. I want you to take a deep, intentional breath right now. Please do not skip this. Inhale slowly, drawing the air deep into the lowest part of your stomach, holding it for just a heartbeat, and then exhale as if you are releasing the physical weight of the entire world from your shoulders. Let your jaw unclench. Let the muscles behind your eyes soften. Unfurrow your brow. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Notice how this tiny act of presence already shifts the atmosphere inside your body. You are entirely safe in this space. You are seen here, not for what you produce or what you provide for others, but simply for who you are. And most importantly, you are understood here in a way that bypasses logic, bypasses the endless analyzing of your mind, and speaks directly to your soul. We are standing at a monumental astronomical threshold, a moment of blinding clarity and fated transformation. The 4th of April, 2026. This is not a day for subtle hints or quiet transitions. This is a day of absolute, undeniable, and life-altering authority. The day you finally step onto the throne of your own reality. The energy of April 4 is a cosmic illumination. On this specific date, we are witnessing the peak of Mercury at its greatest elongation, standing at its brightest and most visible point in the sky, granting us a mind like a diamond, unbreakable and razor-sharp. Simultaneously, the heavens are marked by the rare perihelion of the great Comet C, 2026 A1, a celestial messenger of destiny passing closest to the sun, burning away the last remnants of your old self in a literal trial by fire, while the moon stands at its aphelion, providing you with a high vibrational, detached perspective. The disciplined structures of Mars and Saturn have finally solidified into a permanent shield around your heart. This is the energy of the sovereign, the commander, and the phoenix, finally rising from the ashes of a decade-long cycle of confusion. When these forces meet on the 4th of April 2026, it is not a possibility. It is a coronation. For the past week, you have been navigating the intense, scorching, and often exhausting aftermath of a spiritual rebirth. You have been doing everything right. You have faced the truth. You have cleared the fog, built the foundation, and spoken your declarations. And now you are standing at the absolute center of your new life, watching the past burn in the distance with a calm, clinical indifference. You have told the universe you are the authority here. You have told yourself that you are finally, irrevocably whole. You have logically, rationally, and meticulously accepted that the old version of you, the one who begged for love, the one who lived in maybe, the one who accepted breadcrumbs, is officially dead. Your mind is as bright as Mercury in the morning sky, but your soul is now undergoing a final, high-definition stabilization. You find yourself suddenly struck by a sense of profound, quiet power while performing the most mundane, ordinary tasks. You are sitting in silence, looking at your reflection, or simply walking with a new, heavier weight in your step, and out of nowhere, the absolute rightness of your current path lands in your spirit like a decree from the stars. A specific thought about your future, a bold new boundary, or a sudden, sharp realization that you are untouchable by the drama of others drifts into your mind. And for the first time, there is no vibration of doubt. You feel a cool, steady strength in your chest. Your vision is panoramic. Your focus is absolute. You feel the actual, physical strength of a person who has finally moved from seeking power to being power. And in those bright, authoritative, highly stable moments, the what-ifs of the past are incinerated by the comet's tail. You ask yourself, why was I ever afraid of my own light? Why did I let anyone else have a vote in my happiness? Why does it feel like all my pain and all my healing have finally given me the right to rule my own kingdom? Listen to the sound of my voice and let these words sink into the very marrow of your bones. You are not just recovering. You have not lost a single second of your potential. You are not being cold. You are being clear. You are not being unreachable. You are being selective. What you are experiencing right here is not a temporary burst of ego. It is a profound, deeply necessary, and highly fated psychological integration. You are finally feeling the absolute, terrifying peace of authority because, for the first time, you are the only one speaking in your own mind. For months, or even years, you were operating in a state of distributed energy. You were constantly checking the horizons for other people's reactions, constantly modulating your truth to avoid their discomfort, and constantly living in a state of hypervigilance. You did not have the energetic luxury to be the authority because you were too busy being the negotiator for people who didn't even value the peace you were providing. But now, because the Comet Maps is burning the bridge behind you, because Mercury is at its brightest, the suppressed, buried commander is rising to the surface to be permanently, irrevocably established as your new frequency. And this massive internal coronation is not happening by accident. It is happening for a very specific, undeniable, and wildly powerful cosmic reason. Long before your physical self could even begin to comprehend it, the universe began perfectly aligning the energetic frequencies to force you out of your emotional slavery. This is a beautiful, deeply loving, but absolutely firm energetic takeover of your life by your higher self. The part of you that knows you are a god in human form. But what does this actually mean for you, internally? As the comet passes, the Sun and Mercury stands bright. It means the grand illusion of being a victim of love is finally, permanently dead. For so long, you have been desperately, tragically in love with the idea of belonging to someone else. You have been holding on to a version of connection that was essentially a slow, agonizing erasure of your own authority. You fell in love with being the supporter. You fell in love with a brilliant projection of how much you could give, reflected off the surface of someone who could only take. You fell in love with the sparse breadcrumbs of their validation, the fleeting, intoxicating moments where they almost treated you like a priority. You took those tiny, microscopic moments of inclusion and you built an entire, imaginary, sweeping, cinematic future of eternal devotion out of them. You became a tireless, energetic servant of their moods, constantly, relentlessly explaining why their lack of respect was just their way of loving. You told yourself they were just not used to being loved so well. You told yourself their distance was a sign of their respect for your strength. You told yourself their inability to commit was actually a sacred contract you had to patiently endure. You deeply, fundamentally believed that if you just provided enough silence, enough boundless patience, enough unconditional devotion, you could earn your throne. You thought your golden, radiant, overflowing loyalty could somehow fix the broken mirrors of their own self-hatred. You thought, if you just waited long enough, the universe would finally crown you as the chosen one. The comet-infused energy of April 4 is stepping in, taking your life gently but firmly in its hands, and forcing you to look at the brutal, liberating truth. You are not the chosen one, you are the one who chooses. You cannot have a high vibrational relationship with someone who is committed to their own mediocrity. You cannot do the sovereignty work for another human being. This planetary alignment is going to dissolve the complex, highly addictive servant bond that you have tragically confused for a twin flame connection. It is going to take a cosmic fire and burn away the thick, heavy, energetic cords that have kept you completely paralyzed in a state of waiting for permission. You have been living your entire life in a cosmic waiting room. You have kept one eye permanently fixed on the door, constantly checking your phone, constantly analyzing their silences, waiting for the grand apology, the miraculous epiphany, the cinematic moment they finally wake up, drop to their knees, and realize they cannot live without your light. You have been keeping a chair pulled out for a person who only ever wanted to use your light to find their own way out. You have been putting your entire, beautiful, vibrant authority on pause for someone who cannot even look at their own reflection without fear. But as the heavy, transformative frequency of April 4 washes over your spirit, something miraculous, something almost unbelievable is going to happen within your willpower. The heavy, suffocating need to be seen, the desperate, clawing need for them to acknowledge your light, it is going to suddenly, quietly, and entirely stop. You are going to experience the profound, intimidating liberation of radical authority. Listen to me carefully, because you must understand this distinction. Authority does not mean you are a tyrant. It does not mean you become bitter, cold, or disconnected. In fact, needing others to follow you is just another form of attachment. When you are truly authoritative, when you are truly in your power, you don't need anyone's agreement to be right. You are no longer letting the external world validate your light. You are no longer letting a ghost or a group of ghosts dictate your self-worth. The authority that is arriving for you now, catalyzed by Mercury and the Comet, is a quiet, steady, sovereign, untouchable peace. You are going to look back at the relationship, the complex dynamic, the endless waiting, the broken promises, and the rivers of tears, and you are going to feel nothing but a calm, clinical, highly elevated sense of irrelevance. The emotional charge is completely gone. You will look at them not as a monster, not as your destiny, but exactly as they are. A person who was merely a prop in your story of self-discovery, a human being who simply did not have the energetic capacity to match the immense, staggering magnitude of your true self. You will finally, truly realize that their failure to see you, their rejection, and their profound inability to choose you had absolutely nothing to do with your inherent worth. It was never a reflection of your inadequacy. It was a glaring, blinding, unmistakable reflection of their own internal blindness. They could not meet you in the light of the authority because they were still in love with the shadow of the struggle. And as you finally, at a cellular level, accept this truth, you are going to feel a literal, physical expansion. Your posture will naturally straighten. Your voice will find its true, authoritative resonance. You will move with a certainty that makes the world around you bend to your will. You will sleep with a peace that only a person who has won their own war can know. You are taking your immense power back from the illusions. But here is the most fascinating, complex, and highly predictable part of this energetic shift. And you must listen very closely with your entire being so you are deeply prepared for what is about to manifest in your physical reality. Let us talk about the comet burn and the phenomenon of the final extinction. In the unseen realms, in the quantum field where all connection actually originates, energy is entirely about authority. For months, or perhaps years, you have been holding this person up in the astral realm by being their sacrificial lamp. You have been their invisible, tireless, energetic support system. Even when you were not speaking, even when you were physically miles apart, you were actively, constantly directing a massive, glowing stream of your vital life force directly into their reality to keep their ego afloat. You were worrying about their progress, praying for their healing, and keeping the energetic doorway wide open for the day they would finally claim you. They felt this. They unconsciously, selfishly relied on this. Your unseen, spiritual devotion was the invisible credit line that allowed them to be so casual with your heart, to ignore your light so easily. They knew, on a deep, primal, subconscious level, that you were still there, still waiting, still keeping the throne warm for them. They knew they had unlimited access to your high vibrational energy without having to take an ounce of responsibility for it. But as the powerful, igniting energy of April 4 takes full hold of your spirit, you are going to finally, permanently, and ruthlessly burn the contract. You are going to take your immense, golden energy. You are going to unplug it from their hollow vessel, and you are going to fiercely redirect it back into your own sovereign life. When you do this, they are going to feel the drop. They will feel it instantly. A sudden, chilling, unexplained poverty of spirit will enter their reality. The unconditional light you unknowingly provided will simply vanish overnight. They will feel an unexplained coldness. They will suddenly realize they are falling, and the safety net you provided is completely incinerated. Because of this massive energetic disruption, because the servant has become the king or queen, they are going to experience a sudden, desperate panic. They are going to experience the final extinction, the heavy realization of what they have lost. This is why the universe operates with such profound, almost comical irony. The exact moment you truly, authentically, down to your very bones, no longer care if they ever see you, that is the exact, precise moment they will feel desperately, obsessively compelled to reach out and worship you. They will hover in your energy field, like a ghost, trying to find a way back into a temple that has finally been sealed with gold. They will likely start manifesting in your 3D reality in highly predictable, high-intensity ways. They might start liking your most powerful photos again after months of silence. They might send a completely explosive text message declaring that they've had a vision of you being the only one for them. They might find a trivial, nonsensical excuse to contact you, asking for advice or bringing up a random memory of your shared destiny. They will throw a massive authority crumb in your direction to see if you are still starving for their recognition. They want to check if you will still dive to the floor to pick it up. They want to see if the servant service is still open. They want to see if they can still get access to your brilliant light without having to actually bow to your new authority. In the past, this is exactly where you would have stumbled. This is where your heart would have raced, your mind would have gone into absolute overdrive, and you would have immediately, eagerly broken all of your hard-earned boundaries to be understood by them one last time. You would have convinced yourself this was it, this was the grand epiphany, the moment they finally realized your value. You would have abandoned your own throne all over again, compromising your peace just for a temporary, fleeting moment of their fractured attention. But not this time, because the you that existed before the energy of April 4 is gone. The version of you that was willing to trade your peace of mind, your self-respect, and your sanity for a temporary hit of being seen is dead. When they reach out, when they circle back with their intense, dramatic, chaotic energy, you are going to experience the ultimate, final test of your new authority. The universe is going to hand you this test not to punish you, but to allow you to prove to yourself how powerful you have become. And you are going to look at their message, you are going to look at their attempt to disrupt your hard-won peace, and you are going to feel absolute, unshakable boredom. No panic, no desperate hope, no urge to prove anything, no desire to call your friends to analyze their epiphany. You will simply observe it, like a detached monarch, watching a very predictable, boring play in a village square. You will look at the authority crumb, and you will calmly, beautifully realize that you are an entire, vast galaxy, and you are no longer interested in the opinions of a dying star. You will not respond out of anger. You will not type out a long explanation of why they are too late or how much they hurt you. You will not demand the recognition you used to beg for on your hands and knees. You will realize that the highest form of authority is not an argument. It is your own silence. Authority is an internal, unilateral, energetic decision to simply move on into your own high frequency. You will leave them on read, both digitally and energetically. You will protect your peace with the absolute ferocity of a dragon guarding a sacred, golden city. This is the exact moment your entirely new existence is born. By refusing to engage with the chaotic, lower frequency energy of the past, by refusing to step back into the waiting room, you are sending the most powerful, undeniable frequency out to the universe. You are declaring with absolute, unshakable finality, that your light is now reserved for the royalty you have become. You are showing the universe that you finally know your worth. And because of this, your entire romantic blueprint is being fundamentally rewritten from the ground up. You are realizing that true, authentic, soul-aligned love does not feel like a struggle for power or a desperate need to be seen. It does not feel like an agonizing labor you have to perform. It does not require you to constantly suppress your own authority, to shrink your light, or to perform exhausting emotional tricks just to be deemed worthy of basic human consistency and respect. True love feels like deep, profound, nervous system regulation. True love feels like taking off a heavy, ironclad suit of armor after a long, exhausting war. It feels incredibly, almost shockingly expansive. It feels profoundly safe. It is a connection where your biggest dreams are met with immense encouragement, where your authority is not just respected but actively celebrated, and where you never, ever have to spend a single second guessing if you are too much for them. The transformative planetary shift of April 4 is clearing the heavy shadows out of the executive suite of your soul. It is throwing open the massive double doors, letting the brilliant, blinding, fresh light of your infinite potential flood into the room. Because you have Kui Kung created this massive, beautiful, empty space within yourself, because you have finally stopped serving the toxic dynamics of the past, you are now highly, dangerously, undeniably magnetic. But you must understand this shift in your magnetism. You are no longer magnetic to the wounded, broken, fragmented souls who need you to be their servant. You have officially retired from the job of spiritual provider for the emotionally bankrupt. You are no longer a beacon for energy vampires who want to consume your brilliant light because they are too lazy or too terrified to generate their own. You are now exclusively, powerfully magnetic to the aligned, conscious, fully healed individuals who have done their own heavy lifting. You are attracting an energetic frequency that perfectly, flawlessly matches your new, highly elevated vibration of self-authority. You are calling in a partner who is ready to meet you in your absolute, radiant wholeness. Someone who wants to stand shoulder to shoulder with you and build an empire of peace, joy, and mutual growth. But you cannot rush this final stage of the process. You cannot fake this vibration. You cannot bypass the necessary burn to get to the rebirth. If you feel the overwhelming need to sit in silence today, to claim your authority, or to stand in front of the mirror and say, "I am the king, queen here with pride," I want you to do it. Let the sound of your own vision be your medicine. Do not tell yourself you are being delusional. Understand that your ambition is not a sign of greed. It is the literal, physical manifestation of your divinity. It is the sacred sound of your soul reclaiming its infinite inheritance. Allow yourself to fully, deeply honor the version of you that had to go through that painful, dark, controlling crucible just to get to this necessary awakening. Forgive yourself for all of it. Say it out loud, right Dieu, wherever you are. Let your physical voice vibrate in the air. I forgive myself for staying much longer than my intuition told me to. I forgive myself for loving someone who was fundamentally incapable of seeing my light. I forgive myself for ignoring the glaring red flags because I was so mesmerized by the drama. I forgive myself for abandoning my own authority. You did the absolute best you could with the emotional tools and the level of awareness you had at that time. Do not punish the past version of yourself for not knowing what you know now. You have better tools, Dieu. You have a significantly sharper vision. You have built an impenetrable, glowing shield of radical self-authority. The future that is rushing toward you, right Dieu, racing down your newly cleared timeline, is so incredibly bright, so vast, and so profoundly beautiful that it would completely blind the version of you from 6 months ago. The love that is coming for you, the true, authentic, aligned partnership that the universe has been preparing while you were busy learning these hard lessons, will not require you to shrink a single inch. It will not require you to constantly explain your value or beg for support. It will arrive naturally, effortlessly, and organically, entirely devoid of the painful games, the silent treatments, and the exhausting chaos you were once so tragically addicted to. But it all starts right here. It starts right now, the very moment this audio ends. It starts with you making a sacred, unbreakable, completely non-negotiable vow to yourself that you will never, ever again abandon your own authority just to keep someone else safe in their smallness. It starts with you fully acknowledging that the painful, confusing connection you have been holding onto with a white-knuckled grip was merely a turbulent bridge to your spiritual awakening, not your final destination. It was the harsh, necessary catalyst that forced you to look within, to heal your deepest wounds of scarcity, and to finally, irrevocably choose your own greatness over anyone else. You are ready. You have always been ready. The universe was simply waiting for you to get tired of the drama. The universe was simply waiting for you to realize your own immense, staggering power to claim the whole sky. The profound, igniting astrological energy of April 4 is the powerful cosmic wind at your back, pushing you gently but incredibly firmly into the new, elevated reality you always deserved, but were too afraid to claim. Take one final, deep, grounding breath. Place your right hand firmly over your solar plexus, center the seat of your authority. Close your eyes. Feel the steady, reliable, powerful vibration of your own existence beneath your palm. Feel the warm blood flowing through your veins. That is your ultimate truth. That is your magic. That is your true, permanent home. Everything outside of this physical body is just an experience, just a temporary reflection of where you were at a certain point in time. But this center, this beautiful, glowing, untouchable core within you is entirely yours, and it is completely impervious to anyone else's darkness. If this message entirely bypassed your logical mind and spoke directly, intimately to your spirit, if you felt the profound, physical shift in your energy, the goosebumps on your skin, the loosening of the tension in your stomach, as you listen to these exact words, do not let this powerful moment pass unacknowledged. Like this video. Do this not out of algorithmic habit, but as a deliberate, physical, silent declaration to the universe that you are finally, truly ready to receive the authority, the peace, and the love that is unfolding for you. Share your journey in the comments below. Declare your authority. Let your words serve as an energetic anchor for your brand new timeline. There is immense, undeniable, world-shifting power in witnessing each other's spiritual awakening and realizing you are not walking this difficult, painful path. Min. Your story, your exact words, your moment of realization might be the exact validation someone else desperately needs to read today to keep themselves from looking backward and staying in the dark. Subscribe to this channel to remain deeply connected to this high frequency as we continue to navigate these profound, life-altering cosmic shifts together in the coming months. Breathe in the absolute, crystal-clear reality of this present moment. Fill your spirit with the vibrant, golden energy of your completely new beginning. Exhale the heavy, tired, pathetic echoes of the past shadows. Blow them away into the ether, where they belong. You are profoundly safe. You are completely sovereign. You are beautifully, miraculously whole. And your completely new, wildly beautiful reality has already arrived. Welcome home to your authority.